All
Decided.
right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Gaming Chair, your weekly dose of video game news and hilarity. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Oltmans. Alongside of me is Jared Bradley and Austin Smith. Just wanted to kick off by introducing myself. Like I said, my name is Matt Oltman. I have a wife and daughter. I love gaming, everything related to it. I'm a graphic designer, love being super creative, and can't wait to get it with you guys and talk more with you guys every week about all the latest stuff we're going to do. Uh, Jared, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Jared, I'm 30 years old. I got married, got a wife and an 8-year-old son.
Woo!
um, I'm a I'm a delivery driver for FedEx, which is pretty awesome in these times. Um, you know, just
Essential.
yeah, I'm
Essential.
saying.
You essential.
But yeah, just ready to have some laughs and hang out with these two beautiful gentlemen. Austin.
Yeah, name's Austin Smith. I am also an essential employee. I work
Mm.
for a bank. Um, yeah, just looking forward to getting this going. Kind of something we've always talked about, and just kind of in our intro, finally got the gumption and motivation to get it going. So looking forward to it.
Gumption.
The gumption.
So, I think along with introducing ourselves, now that we got that out of the way, I think one of the things we want to talk about is a little bit of backstory ourselves, what we won game that really turned us into an essential gamer. One of you guys want to go ahead and start?
Sure, I'll
No?
take it. Well, I started gaming. I was probably 5 or 6 years old on the Nintendo Entertainment System,
Ooh.
NES, playing some Super Mario Brothers. First actual console I'd say that was mine was probably the Nintendo 64, and it was probably Gauntlet Legends. It was probably the game that
Nice. Name
made
drop.
me the gamer.
Really good. Good selection. Good choice.
Made me the gamer I am today.
Right, right.
Turned me into an RPG player. That's pretty much what I mean.
Oh.
That's pretty much all I got.
Jeez.
Austin?
Yeah, I'd have to probably go back to like the Super Nintendo as well for mine. Donkey Kong, probably the big one. Having like yeah,
You
Donkey
can't
Kong.
you can't beat the mine carts cruising around those mine carts, man. That's everybody's
Right.
jam. That's everyone's jam.
Right.
I
Yeah.
want to do real life. What are you talking about?
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, definitely that one was probably the first. And kind of not to steal some of Jared's glory there, but yeah, the first console that's probably mine that I played a bunch of was N64 2, the classic.
How dare you copy me?
I'm
The
sorry.
nerve.
I'm sorry.
The nerve.
All right,
Get your own
right.
material.
Yeah, and then from there, probably a game that got me really continuing going is probably StarCraft back on N64, and kind of got me into like the RTS. Also, Command and Conquer, the original one, that was another one that was hours, sleepless nights playing that game. Jesus.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, and I play a wide selection of games. I play sports games, RTSs, RPGs, stuff like that. So I'm a little bit into everything. So
I can relate. I game more than anyone on the planet. I think you guys can attest to that.
Yeah. I don't know why
Yeah.
I get like stuck on one game and then this is it for a year and a half till the new version of it drops.
I can't judge. I can't judge. That's me with Bannerlord right now. Bannerlord 2.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything for everybody as far as like those people that like the RPG and like RTS kind of games. It's and also even kind of like a little bit of not so much hack and slash, but kind of that combat system too. Getting into the battlefields is definitely an interesting game for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
I'll pass it on to you, Matt.
Yeah, I guess it's my turn. For me, like saying, and I got the Sega Genesis when I was like 3 or 4, so playing Sonic 1 and 2, going up through Nintendo 64, playing GoldenEye, of course.
Jeez.
PlayStation, yeah, right. PlayStation, Tony Hawk, Rocket Power. I don't know. Skateboard. Right?
Tony Hawk, Rocket
Yeah,
Power.
yeah. Shoobies.
Yeah, Shooby.
I guess for me though, the biggest game that turned me into a gamer, I guess, Call of Duty 4. It's that I don't know. It just hit different. I think it was like the first like solid FPS game that I loved playing. It's like a game that I'd skip school to go to. The gamer and Area 51 because I didn't have high-speed internet to play it yet. The struggle. So I'd pay the $3 an hour to skip school and go play it there, and then quick leave at 2 or 3 in the afternoon to avoid suspicion.
Speaking of struggle of high speed internet, with me and Jared here, living out in the boonies.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, I remember that. Like going out to your house, Jared. Also, I never actually gamed out of your house, but going out to Jared's when we had to like install updates, I was like, hey, well, I guess I'm not playing a game tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you're not. It's about the same story,
right? Like,
struggles are real, man.
So what have you guys been what have you been playing this week, recently, instead of, history?
Yeah. I'm tearing up Warzone and Escape from Tarkov.
Good
I
choice.
haven't played that, although I'm not really a PC.
Yeah. So. It's Escape from Tarkov's a whole nother monster. Like, I don't know. It's like it's just a whole different style of gameplay. You will die real fast. Try to play anywhere close to how you play in Call of Duty. It's just won't be a good time.
I don't like that.
Yeah, no. It's like, yikes. But yeah, other than that, Warzone. Of course, they got all the new patches, which we'll talk about later.
Oh yeah.
About you guys?
Yeah, pretty much.
Jared.
Yeah, pretty much Warzone. Been playing a lot of NBA, 2K. My career, just beat Wilt Chamberlain's record. No big deal.
Oh boy.
Oh Jesus.
Everyone playing the game like, yeah, whatever. I beat that already too.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing this week.
Myself, Bannerlord, unfortunately.
Austin's got like a vast variety of games he's playing. Right
You only
now.
have about 15 minutes of that game played, right?
15 minutes at least.
Definitely not 500 hours. Definitely.
We're not quarantined.
Right? Jesus. But yeah, Bannerlord. A little bit of WoW sprinkled in just to kind of change it up, and did a few matches of Warzone. Or was that last week? I guess it wasn't this week. It was last week. But
same thing. Days running together now.
Jesus.
Right.
The COVID-19.
Right.
Yeah.
This quarantine's messing everybody up.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we jump right into the news? Fill these people in with some information.
For sure. Let's get the fun stuff out of the way.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll kick it off. We'll talk about what Ubisoft,
Poppin'.
They announced the new Assassin's Creed game.
Ooh, Valhalla.
They named it Valhalla, and I think it looks pretty awesome, if you ask me. Looks like you get to take control of a guy named Ivor. Well, I guess I can't say guy because you can be a guy. You can make Ivor a guy or a girl.
It seems like an awful unisex name.
Yeah. Good on you, Ubisoft. Good on you.
But yeah, you're a Viking raider, get to go and one of the things I thought was probably the coolest part about this is you can actually raid villages and take them over, and you can actually like develop your settlements from what I'm reading here. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to do is, build your own towns and whatnot.
That would be really cool because in the other games, obviously, you're kind of done with your main storyline. You're just kind of like, okay, well,
what do I do
forts.
now?
Yeah, I can clear out forts, get cities, like synchronize full cities. But
yeah, and it looks like it's bringing a lot of like the RPG elements of Odyssey into it, but then there's like the sailing of like Black Flag. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
Well, I mean,
because
if it is Vikings,
you get
Yeah.
your long ships.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Oh, phew, good. I was due for a new history lesson.
yeah.
right?
Dude, that's all Assassin's Creed is.
Dude,
You
I know.
Well,
I know.
I mean,
love
if we're
them.
getting into history, technically, it's not Vikings, it's Danes.
Oh, but it looks like they announced what the special orders are going to be for it, like the gold, ultimate, and collector's editions.
Anything good?
Just looking at it, looks like with the ultimate edition, you get a gear pack, you get a settlement pack, a long ship pack, and it looks like for your weapons and stuff, you'll be able to use like runes and stuff, kind of like Diablo,
Oh,
Ooh,
because you get a set of runes to improve weapons and gear. So, I mean,
makes
that
sense.
seems, yeah. And then the collector's edition, you get like your steel book, your artwork, and you actually get uh, a Viking statuette of Ivor with his raven and Dane axe.
I was gonna ask that. I was like, are they giving out the statues along with
Oh
it?
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool in theory, but I'm like,
Where would you?
put
Where
this?
am I
Where am I
gonna
gonna
put
put
this?
this?
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, if we ever get out of this, isolation, social distancing, and we,
Come
somehow
show
get
you the
a
statue.
room and we can actually be together, we can just, have a bunch of collectibles
Here,
behind us.
here, touch it.
Right.
Touch the statue.
Just the tip of the axe, just a tip.
Touch the statue. Interesting.
Make it feel good.
Like Assassin's Creed's gonna be like a big old MMO here pretty soon.
Dude, no kidding.
Which
And
I
also,
wouldn't hate. I wouldn't
right?
hate.
But people said that about the Fallout game, and that kind of just flopped.
Yeah, I just really wasn't a fan of 76 when we played it.
Yeah, I mean they've done a bunch of updates, and they just came out with that
Yeah, that's true.
Wastelanders
Yeah.
where it actually added uh, NPCs in the world. So
Oh,
it's
so
not
it's not
empty.
super boring.
Yeah, so it's not as empty.
Okay.
I kind of want to hop back in,
Yeah.
give
I
it a
never
shot.
understood that. Why would a game that has like an open world not have a bunch of NPCs kind of populated into it? Like you see every other game have it that
Yeah.
has any kind of
I mean, I get it because this is they were technically supposed to be like the first vault dwellers to leave the vault.
Yeah. Yeah.
but still
you would think
it's
there's still
something.
be someone out
Yeah, I
there.
get the point of the story. I'm just like,
Yeah. Well, that's all I got for Valhalla.
Valhalla. All right. Another thing that was announced: Summer Game Fest. So, as everyone knows by now, probably, E3 is canceled. So they had to,
Kick on.
right? They had to put something in place so that obviously game developers and publishers can get their new information and new games and potential prospects out there. So tons of big name developers. Basically, what it's going to be is from like May to August. Going to be each publishing developing company live streaming their new releases, basically. And I know we had talked about this earlier at how we like the thought of that being better, worse as compared to like a long, like 48, 72 hour long event of E3,
Right.
and whether you feel like sometimes you miss all of it. Like I know we had used, like you go from one end of the convention all the way to the other end and you miss it if it happens to be going at the same time of two things. See, you miss it. And obviously, the atmosphere is probably a million times better than streaming it at home.
Oh yeah.
But it's like
You're telling me you don't get all hot and like big party going on,
right? No, I get sweaty. I get sweaty enough at home. Like, it's sweaty enough at home. So yeah. Anyway, they're gonna be streaming all of that over from May to August. I think there's actually one coming up May 12th. Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Geoff
Keighley. Surprise game review.
I saw that.
Terrasante. And everyone, I'm sure, already watched the Inside Xbox event. But basically, what Summer Game Fest is going to be, I'll read it. How they're wording it, how they're selling it. Summer Game Fest is a new, all-digital way to unite a season of video developers. Summer Gaming Fest is your digital news, playable content, game event, prizes you can experience for free from the comfort of. So really selling on it. You get to sit around in your drawers and watch
Sit
the
around
new
in my
stuff.
box.
Yeah, exactly. Sit
Sign me
around in
up.
your drawers, and I'm for it. I'm for it. So, yeah, they have the schedule on their site, which we'll link. We'll link down for everyone if they want to see. Um, it's 4 months long,
Yeah.
and they're not going to be having something every day. I think 4 months, like they even mentioned, 4 months would be obviously a long time of everyday stuff like content.
Yeah.
They're considering it like a summer concert series. There, where there's like a few days during the week where there's nothing showing. A new developer or publisher will bounce out something new, and I think that'd be pretty cool. Like indie developers launch their stuff to where a lot of times I think maybe at bigger events, like in like a large indie developers can kind of take a back seat to bigger ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this would be a great opportunity for them to be able
Showcase
to
what their
get
work
get
is.
the front get the front row right up front, showcase what it is. People tune in whether they want to, but they'll have a better fighting chance of being right out in the forefront. So I think that's interesting. Right now they have the big name companies that are already participating: 2K, Activision, Bethesda, Bandai, Bungie, Streams, EA, PlayStation, Riot, Square Enix, Steam, Warner Brothers, Xbox. A bunch of other ones, and I think they're adding new ones every other day, something like that.
Yeah. Keep it fresh.
I know they're gonna have it. They're gonna be streaming on the publishers and developers like site and streaming channels, and then they're also gonna have the option of embedding them directly on the Summer Game Fest website. So it's gonna act kind of like this, like a Facebook Live or a Twitch or a YouTube stream, to where you'll be go to the site like every time there's something live through, which is kind of cool. Playable content, I think, will be interesting. I think they're going to be just having like demo options. You can download free trials. They each platform I think will have like different things that like specific details basically about how you can get that in-game content, special stuff. It's kind of cool. They're also giving you the option to kind of voice your opinion on something that they like. If you're a publisher, developer, or an indie developer, and send in like some ideas like to see, which is kind of cool. So I don't think this is preferred. Obviously, I think a large E3 event, everybody likes the event. It's kind of cool.
Just the atmosphere.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like a pillar in the game community too.
Yeah.
That it's a huge event. Everybody forward to here, but I think this is a nice second for everybody
sure.
stuck at home.
I've heard a lot of people are saying that E3 might not survive this. What do you guys think? You think they will, or
I think they will. It's one of those big things. That's like saying BlizzCon's going to go away. I mean, as long as Blizzard's still there making like Diablo and World of Warcraft, they're always going to have a BlizzCon.
Yeah. See, and that's what I thought too. But then you have PlayStation; they've pulled out of E3 the past 2 years. People just keep pulling out, and then giggity. But yeah, everyone just keeps pulling out, and now this happens where everyone has to pull out. Like it's just canceled.
Yeah.
Like
I get it.
What's it going to be when it comes back? Like are people actually going to come back, or are they going to think that this?
I'm sure it'll
like online streaming stuff is going to be better for them.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, I think it'll be a great way for other companies to be at the forefront. Whereas I'm sure at E3, some of the bigger companies are just more biased, and more people are looking for those. So the smaller companies can kind of take a back seat. Yeah. I'm not for sure that's what happens, but from like a marketing standpoint, that just makes sense. Like the bigger companies that pay more for like advertising things for more popular ones, see.
Yeah.
So kind of.
Well, I guess ultimately it depends on as long as there's going to be people that want to go to it physically, because they make more money by people going because the tickets.
Oh yeah.
So as long as people still buy out the tickets, and so I'm sure they're gonna still try to do it next year as long as everything kind of goes the way hopefully everybody's planning gets better and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm sure they're going to do it next year, kind of see how ticket sales are. If the ticket sales are still good, I think they're still going to do it just because money speaks volumes. I mean, I'm sure what you could see come out of it is like those smaller developers maybe kind of team together and maybe do their own little like streaming service with it and kind of announce what they're doing. You might see that.
I feel like more things throughout the year are going to pop up instead of a one-time event. I think if they see some actual success with Summer Game Fest and the streaming, which I have no doubt they will. People watch streams. Hey, I don't see, especially with stuff coming out. But they'll probably have like more events like this will pop up throughout the year, so you have a whole year of content of streaming programs that available from these development companies. I think start to realize, hey, maybe this is a great idea to get out in the forefront of our fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if they can tie, going back to the whole money speaks volumes, if they can tie like a subscription to it or something like that, probably will see that.
Yeah, well, to me, it kind of feels like, like if music concerts are still popular, something like E would still be popular.
True.
It's still a whole fan base of people that want to see it. They want the atmosphere. They want to have the interaction with development companies, publishers, other people, other gamers, other fans, things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah, because I mean, you always hear those stories about people talking about where people they gamed with for years, they met them at these events,
E3 event or a BlizzCon event or any. Yes, for sure. Okay, so what's up next on the docket?
Austin.
Kind of falls in line a little bit with what Matt was talking about with that. It's because Xbox is coming out with their monthly Inside, or as they're calling it, Xbox 2020, which is going to be sounds like a monthly episode of them kind of covering different aspects, kind of the lead up to the new gen releasing the Xbox Series X. Because they're still planning on it to be for the holiday season. It definitely sounds like that's the route they're going. I actually, looked on Microsoft's actual website, and that's where in the latest article they said that. We're going to be doing a live reaction to this month's episode that aired on May 5th, where they kind of cover like the next gen gameplay and stuff like that, featuring Assassin's Creed Valhalla that was just recently released, and actually get to hear from some of the creators and game developers on what they're kind of doing for the Xbox Series X, with how hopefully, it's going to take graphics and all that stuff to the next level. But yeah, that we're going to be doing a live reaction video for if you go out into our Patreon, we have a Patreon page set up, which that information is going to be linked below as well. I'm going to be doing that video for our Patreon, releasing that for our Patreon supporters, tier 1. So
our exclusive live reaction.
Yep.
Get to see us live. For sure.
But that kind of, so kind of, again, that episode aired on the 5th, so if you guys want to check it out yourselves and don't want to see our live reactions to it, obviously feel free, but
I mean, who wouldn't want to see these faces?
Exactly. Like, come on. Like, look at these two beautiful people. Come on.
You.
Shucks.
But,
all right.
Whatever's next, I guess.
All right. So a coder with the recent firmware update with the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, someone dug into the code there, and they found something that might be leading to a Switch 2. The Switch, like the way they figured this out is the Switch Lite. It had a code, it's like code name was like ABCB or something like that. But it's like ACB 8 or letters, ABCB or something like that. And then they found another. They found another one that that was ABCD. So they're like, well, that's not the original Switch or the Switch Lite. So
The next letter.
It's got to be something new. But the rumors are that this Switch 2 is supposed to be kind of DS-like, having a second screen.
Like, would it fold?
That's what I'm wondering. Like,
You'd almost have to.
Right.
Yeah, but
And
I'm imagining like how thick this thing would be.
right.
Dick.
Right?
But
Like thick with 3 C's thick. For
the other thing that I was like questioning is because this is supposed to, so they have the Switch, which is supposed to be on the go, and you can kind of put it on the dock.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a home console. The Switch Lite is supposed to be always on the go. This Switch 2 is, from what I've heard, is supposed to be just a home console. But why would you have it be a home console?
Dual screen.
It's dual screen and all that. Like the Switch's whole thing was to be able to pick it up and go.
Yeah. Well, so what are they planning on doing? Screens, like, because like obviously no TV make like a 2-screen option. So
Right. Well,
what's
see,
like
I'm wondering if it's going to be like GameCube days, Zelda,
Okay.
Four Swords. How you'd hook your Game Boy into the GameCube kind of thing, and you'd be down on
Oh yeah, all right.
TV and just keep going back and forth. If it'd be something like that,
They're gonna make you like integrate like outside equipment into it. It's like that reminds me like playing on the PlayStation Metal Gear Solid. You have to go up against that guy. The only way you could beat him is if you plugged your controller into the player 2
the
port.
second player 2 port. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like after
But I'm
like
just-
7 hours screaming at it. Ah!
What have I done?
Yeah.
It'd definitely be interesting to see what they do with that. Like, because, like, I don't know, just trying to picture that. I feel like it'd annoy more people than it would probably lure in. I mean, you're
Mhm.
going to have those people that will buy it,
Well, yeah.
but. Yeah.
Probably me.
Yeah, Jared's over there like, that's me.
Yeah. I mean, so the Nintendo DS, like, it used that upper screen for.
That was like
other-
your main screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
The upper
And
screen was like your main screen. And
Okay,
then
and
the
what,
lower
like the lower one was like some games was
menus,
like, okay.
inventory. Well, with the DS, you had the stylus, so like some of them you like drew circles to do things, and
Yeah.
Would both screens be touchscreen then?
I don't know.
Hmm.
We need answers. We need
Right,
answers.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Nintendo,
wonder. Well,
feel
I guess
free to inbox me, slide
Right.
in my DM.
slide into them
Ooh.
puppies.
It's gonna slide in.
Right. Well, I wonder. Yeah, that second screen would just be weird. I'm wondering, like, I guess for in some games, if you need to see up higher the game or something, they could have some like interactive way for you to be like, like
I don't know.
on your screens. Okay, imagine that setup. Like, hold on, let me bust up my Switch. Hold on.
Let me open it up.
Hold on, I need the other screen. Hold on. Someone got a
Oh.
spare power brick.
Right. Oh no, trip the breaker. Mom,
Right.
Dad, can you fix that?
Right? Like, before you know it, it's like not even portable and convenient anymore.
Well, that's the whole thing with the Switch too. Is it's supposed to be just a home console, but
Mhm.
I just don't understand why they would.
Call it a switch then?
Yeah, it's not really switching anything. It's.
Oh, it's switching.
I
Switching
mean,
up
I
how
guess
we feel
it's
about the
switching to a
Nintendo
two
Switch.
Right. Right.
Okay.
It's switching up,
yeah.
right? It's switching up me just playing on my Xbox or something,
We switching you back to your couch. Sit the hell down.
right?
Oh,
All right. Well, that's it on that. In other COVID news,
COVID.
talking about more game fests. Tokyo Game Fest and Paris Game Week were both canceled.
Oh no.
It's 2 more conventions canceled.
Interesting.
But PAX still has yet to cancel. And I think Paris Game Week is actually after PAX.
Hmm.
So I don't know what they're doing over there. Like, are they just like? I mean, even if it opens up, I don't think anyone's doing anything this year.
Yeah.
like-
I mean, you'll have those same people that are the ones that, like, when all this started, that were like down in Florida, like, you know what? I'm still gonna go to the beach because if I get it, I get it. I'm gonna live my life. I tell you what. So you'll still have those probably people that will go do it if they have it open, but you almost wonder if it's still just, if they're gonna cancel it, they should cancel it now and not wait till last minute. But
Right. When, day before. Yeah, we're actually not going to do it. Sorry,
Right.
guys.
I know some of you guys flew here. We
Right.
From
appreciate the
across
effort.
the world. You're
Oh
not
my god,
coming in.
could you imagine that? Like a 13-hour flight and you get there like,
Sorry, doors are
Yeah.
closed.
You go up to it.
bye.
What are you doing here?
Right. Oh, you didn't get the memo? No, I've been gone for 3 days. I've been in the air for 17 days.
It's been 84 years. But that's all I got for
Okay.
my news.
So, the next thing on the news, the big heartbreak for all you Last of Us fans. Last of Us 2 game was leaked. At first they thought it was a disgruntled Naughty Dog employee. They've since Sony found out who the real hacker was.
Well, they're very experienced with hackers, so they should.
Oh no! Oh no! So Sony was
do you mean?
aware,
They've
right?
never been hacked.
Right? So
Right.
Sony's aware who the hacker is. It's not an employee furloughing some of their employees or something. Thought it was a disgruntled employee that could have potentially leaked it. It's not. They've gone over all the information available. To keep us updated as it progresses further. They do have the new release date. It's June 19th. From Twitter, they put out a message from the studio that says, the last few days are incredibly difficult. Same. It's annoying to see the sharing of pre-release development. Do your best to avoid spoilers. Don't spoil it for others. Last of Us Part 2 will be see and hear final experience. So,
Yeah.
right? So
Don't share it.
Don't be
that
spreading
guy.
it around. Spoiler
Don't be that
alerts
guy.
if you have
Well-
to share it. Spoiler alerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know there's going to be those assholes that, and I'm sorry if that's swearing for all those involved, but, you got those people that will, but like back with Avengers Endgame, where they hid them
yeah.
like spoilers and the memes and stuff like that, like, oh, essentials you need to bring to the movie theater, and boop, 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 and then the spoiler.
Ugh.
It's just, I don't mind trolling as much as the next guy sometimes, but you got those people that really get off on pissing
Yeah.
people off and spoiling stuff
How
for them.
sad does your life have to be to take all the enjoyment out of things for others? Like,
If they couldn't do that, they might be people that might not make it till tomorrow. Not gonna elaborate on what that means, but let your imagination take fold.
do you guys think that they put that release date June 19th because of the leak? Because it was supposed to be May 29th, and they delayed it. They delayed it indefinitely, and then 2 weeks later, the leak comes out, and then immediately they have a release date. Do you think they're doing it because
I'm
of the
sure.
leak?
They're probably like, oh shit, we got to get ahead of this and get it out now before it traction. They're probably like, okay, we don't want to be upset by knowing how it ends, knowing how it goes. So they're like, if we can put it out this time, it'll still be fresh in people's minds. They play it. If they release it before it spreads too far, hopefully they can still not see any happen from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
especially because they did the delayed indefinitely first. If they would have just moved the release date back, it might have been something with production or something like that, where they had to push it back, where they were trying to fix a few things. But since they did delay it indefinitely, it probably was just a feeler to feel how everything's going on with that release, that leak.
Yeah. Well, it was just weird to me because when they initially said that they were delaying it indefinitely, it was because they wanted it to release. They wanted the physical and the digital to release at the same time. Well, obviously, right now, people aren't going to be getting physical copies.
Yeah.
And it's just a leak comes and then boom, they're pretty much just abandoning that. Who cares?
They probably were doing the indefinitely thing, and like I said, They're like they want to stay ahead of it so they can still make sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says it hasn't the leak. They said it doesn't have any effect over.
Yeah, delay
Anything like
definitely
that.
wasn't because or
Yeah.
anything because just this week they went gold, so they're ready to release.
Yeah, definitely. So,
kind of keeping with the theme of leaks and potential, not so much a leak, but like new game information, potentially new game information. Seen an article on comicbook.com that talked about um, a new potential Horizon Zero Dawn 2 that was supposed to quote unquote be giving benchmark graphics for the PS5. Um, doesn't sound like anything officially has been released by the company itself for the game, but based on a job posting that comicbook.com found, it was asking for a technical vegetation artist, and mentions in the description they're going to be working on the Horizon series, and noting the goals are going to be to provide stunning environments and help deliver an experience featuring industry benchmark graphics. So that was the big selling point on the game. It sounds like I've never played it myself personally, but just kind of reviewing it and stuff like that and reading about it,
I
that
think
seemed to
that's
be the big selling point of the game.
well, yeah. I think on Horizon. Sorry.
Oh, you go ahead.
I think on Horizon Zero Dawn, I think that's one of the big things that people really enjoy about the game is its graphics quality.
Mhm.
It's very visually stunning, and so I think they want to like amplify that further. Like it's already looking really good, and they're like, all right, let's see how we can make this look and run
Like
and
real
perform
life.
better.
Let's hire a vegetation artist. Let's do it.
Yep. Vegetation artists.
I
But
think they
yeah,
might have misread it. I think it said a vegetarian artist.
vegetarian artist. No killing of the animals.
We need an artist, and we need picked non-killing.
Right. But yeah, nothing official. Like I said, nothing official has been released at the company, but it's definitely pointing towards a second game on the new console. Which, I mean, that'd be the chance to see how far you can take the graphics on these new consoles with some of the specs that they got coming out for them. So I mean,
Sure.
For
it's
sure.
basically good gaming PC. Well, I say good gaming PCs, but I'm sure I'm gonna get the PC Master Race triggered by saying
Like
that. But
you hold the phone.
right, you counsel plebs,
That's me.
right? But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely exciting news for just games in general. Just hearing that kind of information come across for the future. I mean, it's
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. The games that take into account all the new tech and specs that in each one, how hopefully each company is gonna push the boundaries, the graphics quality. Cinematics are probably gonna look insane
Oh yeah.
in games now. Like it's gonna be just like watching
Can you imagine a Final Fantasy game now? The cinematics for that. I mean, back on the PS2,
right.
Final Fantasy X, like the cinematics were incredible. Like,
yeah. I mean, I have a high standard for cinematics, just being a big Blizzard game
oh,
fan.
Yeah,
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 well, look at Diablo 2. Like
yeah,
cinematics in that, like
yeah. Those are
For their day were amazing. I mean, even look back at like their like Warcraft games, their
I was gonna say,
Warcraft
I was like, of
2,
course, all the
3.
WoW cinematics are amazing now. They just get better.
Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely a high standard I think in the gaming world, but I hope
Blizzard.
these developers
Blizzard make movies.
Right?
the that speaking of movies and their games, like that Warcraft movie, don't get me wrong, I didn't mind it, but like Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
if they would have just did cinematic
Yeah.
movie instead of that crap. Sorry.
Seen it.
You
It's
haven't
been
seen
out
it
for.
yet?
No,
Yeah,
I haven't.
it's not terrible. Like
No.
it's pretty good. I don't did it. You read the books, didn't you, Austin?
Read the yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's my inner nerd showing. That's what I used to do,
That's fine.
like was read the lore
Yeah.
like in high school back when I was supposed to be working in class. Like I'd be reading the lore. Lore wise, it kept some things, but it kind of changed a few others. So I mean but then again with WoW and their Blizzard and their lore with WoW,
Wow.
they've changed it. They've changed it as it goes. They kind of rewrite it. Like with the last few expansions that have come out, they rewrote the lore, and it changed some, but it didn't do too bad of a job. But there's definitely some aspects missing that probably triggered people worse than what it triggered me.
That's fair.
Because you have that one person that's just there that will give it a 1-star review just because it's like, oh, they did this differently. Meh. But-
Listen, I get fired up about those people, but you guys went to the movie with me when we went to Ready Player One. Do you remember how
Yeah.
mad I was? Like how annoyed I was at that movie
Yes.
that it didn't stick to the
Yes.
book at all. I
didn't
like,
read the book, and I'm like,
No.
this movie sucks.
no, like I know it was me and Briggs. We were both like, this is bullshit. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it was such a good book. Like I read the book like multiple times even before the
Well-
movie. Once I saw the release that they were going to be releasing the movie, I was like, yes. I was the same with Ender's Game when I read that, and that one was pretty good. But this
Well-
one, oof.
To be fair, like with what you guys, because I never read the book either.
Mm.
But from hearing from both you and Briggs on, what the book was like, I think if they stuck more to the book, it would have been a better movie. Like
Well,
me.
I mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
and I understand like directors taking their interpretation. Like I definitely do their artistic.
Yeah, but sometimes you get too creative with something and you could ruin it.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's fair. Well, yeah, that was just I digress from the movie and
Right.
books. Let's go back to the games.
Yeah. Speaking of releases, this is actually a confirmed release, and it actually comes out May 21st for those RTS fans. Warhammer 2. New DLC. It's called The Warden and the Paunch. Not to get too heavy, like nerdy,
Heroes,
Poncheros?
right?
and the Pine
Demonetized.
Right? Jesus. God. But yeah, so the lore behind it is it's actually covers a time frame on when I guess I don't know if I want to waste my time on it because I could to give people a proper backstory would be hours, but essentially it's just a key conflict between two races, the High Elves and the Greenskins, which Greenskins just think orcs, that would paint a pretty enough picture in your head. But it features a long-awaited Greenskin rework. The race as a whole in the game was suffering pretty, especially with a lot of because they've been around since Warhammer 1, and they never really got a lot of love for
Mhm.
TLC, and they pretty vastly underperformed both in like single player and multiplayer. So for years, people have been calling for like a rework, and they finally get it. And I never was a fan of them. I did a lot of dwarf or high elf, but reading through some of the stuff I'm going to cover with this new DLC, and the nice thing is the rework is a free LC. So as long as you own the game, you get it. You don't have to worry about paying extra to get the new features. The only thing you get with paying extra is just access to the new Lord. So basically, a new faction, new starting point, and some of the new units. That's all you really get access to. But yeah, so to kind of cover some of the notes on the rework. So each of the legendary lords, and I think there's 4 or 5 of them, they all kind of get their talent trees reworked. They get new abilities, kind of to make them a little more on par with some of the other lords that are out there in the game. They expanded on their like kind of race exclusive mechanic, which is called WOG. And I'm sure I probably sounded terrible with pronouncing that, but
Wag.
yeah, it's another one people apparently get triggered about, those hardcore Warhammer people. But so the old mechanic was you go fight battles, win battles, keep fighting and stuff like that, and if you have more than 17 units in your army, you spawn a random AI army that will kind of has a mind of its own. I mean, you can kind of direct it, kind of control it a little bit, but it kind of has a mind of its own and will go off and more times than not get itself killed. And that kind of sucked because you get kind of debuffs for that being defeated, and it kind of hurt you. Now and each lord gets their own WOG. Like it's kind of unique to them. Like it gives them like different like units that's kind of fit their lore. Like for example, one of the main ones, Grimgore Ironhide. He is a Black Orc and he's famous for that. So in his WOG, he gets Black Orc units, which are probably their strongest frontline infantry. And obviously, if you guys have any questions to elaborate on, I'm sure I'm boring some people, but
I don't know anything about Warhammer.
yeah.
It looks interesting. I just
Yeah.
never got into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting game, especially for those people that like RTS. Total War has always done a pretty good job with their RTS games, and they definitely killed it with this one. I mean, it's a lot of people are waiting for the third one in the trilogy to come out. But this is a nice kind of little like injection of life. I know myself, I haven't played it for months because I played it to death with all the current stuff. But I guess to kind of get this wrapped up a little bit quicker. So like with the WOG, they also changed it to where because before, like I said, it was just that army that spawned randomly. Now it's actually gets the army is attached to your main army, so it doesn't wander off on its own. It doesn't get killed. It actually joins you when you go into combat. It's also when you're in combat, it's also a filling bar that gives you a buff. So like the longer you're in combat, the bar builds up quicker, and once it gets to the bar, it gives you a temporary buff. And again, this varies depending on the lord, but it increases the unit stats for the whole army, so like attack damage, all that good stuff, to kind of give you a nice little boost. Lasts about 20 seconds, so it's not something that will completely, last the rest of the battle, but it could turn the battle in your favor if you're stuck in a kind of a sticky situation. As well, it kind of adds another spice up to their faction. So there's a mechanic in the game where for a couple different races to where like you collect resources and you can like build upgrades and stuff like that for your units. They're giving one to them, the greenskins, and this to kind of give them a boost, because especially where they start by one of the more broken races in the game, and it makes it kind of hard to expand out a little bit sometimes. So it allows you to upgrade the individual units. It's called scrap. Lets you upgrade the individual units, and kind of gives them different buffs. Like helps you in research to make you a little bit better there as well. A few other things that they added in it. So there's new units for both races, the greenskins and high elves. A new starting location for one of the legendary lords for the greenskins. That's been there, so not the new one, obviously. And then there's a new confederation mechanic that's similar to one that they already have in there for a different race. So if you defeat another greenskin faction lord, you after the battle you get a chance. Their main lord, not their just any other one, but you get a chance to confederate the actual faction. So it kind of joins in, and you can kind of get their territory stuff, their armies, all that good stuff. But yeah, but that releases on the 21st, and it's not that badly priced. It's kind of priced along most of their DLC. It's $9. So I mean,
Nice.
it adds up if you own them all, but for the one-time purchase, it's not too bad in it.
Well, $9 is spent way more than that on a game. $9 breathes some life back into a game you play for hours.
Yeah.
That ain't even a thing.
Well, and like I said, the nice thing is the rework. That rework is actually free DLC. So
nice.
the DLC itself gives you two new lords, and some new units to kind of add
okay.
element. But yeah, that rework is actually free DLC, which is kind of some of the nice thing. I mean, they kind of get a little money grubbing with some other DLC. Some people complain about, but they do sprinkle in a lot of free DLC that kind of like this helps get people playing in it again. So I'm sure they're probably going to see a spike in their playing once this gets released on the 21st. So
yeah.
Nice. What's going on in NCAA, my man?
What's coming about in NCAA for and this game is the last game that they released for NCAA was back in 2013 or 2014, so it's almost been 8 years on this. But they stopped making the games because they were being sued. EA was, because they're the ones that make them. They were being sued by former college players for likeness issues because the NCAA doesn't let players they didn't let players collect money for
Collect
like
money.
licenses or anything like that.
Licenses, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, almost anything. You hear stories out there about one coach that got in trouble because I think it was Arian Foster that said it, because his players were starving, so the coach bought them tacos so they could eat that night, and the coach got in trouble by the NCAA. Yeah. Yeah, if you look it up, it's from, I think it's Arian Foster.
I'm hungry. Can I have some tacos? No.
No.
Right. But
What if the coach wanted some tacos too?
Right.
yeah, right.
The coach
And they
should
were
have
just
said
yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I know I'm not going to get into the politics of it because you have a bunch of people that have strong opinions on both sides, but the NCAA recently is kind of changing some of the rules so that players can collect likeness rights. So like if they want to go out and do like autographs, stuff like that, and get paid for it, so like they can do that.
Oh, so like small stuff, not like large
yeah.
marketing campaigns with them.
Yeah. One. So a lot of people got excited hearing this because they thought that it was going to mean more NCAA games. Because if you look right now, like the last one, the NCAA 14, like the football one, like that game is almost more expensive than the console it plays on, like the 360 or the PS3s. Like I've heard and seen like some of those games are going for like $300-400, and it was originally a $60 game.
Dude.
It just
people love those games. Like
I like
I remember playing them, and like it was cool because like you used to be able to play that and play your college years, and then Madden you'd be able to import your player from NCAA and continue on into the NFL, which I thought was awesome.
That and the draft classes, so you could so if you knew good players, you could import the draft class and then in your Madden franchise just draft those players,
Yeah.
So but it added the game itself I think had a lot more replayability than what Madden did, and you'll see a lot of people kind of have that same mindset with it because with college, everything's changing every like couple years because players graduating, going to the professional leagues, stuff like that. So it added a lot of replayability. And like with 14, like you could create you can still create your own team and actually import it into the game and kind of do like you see YouTubers do it. They create their own team and import it, and they can build that team up from like a bunch of nobodies and 0 overall players to be something good. So unfortunately, as of right now, there's no time frame on a new NCAA game. EA has come out and said that they will definitely do one because they've had no problem they had no problem paying players, but obviously
better not have any problems. I mean, the freaking EA.
Yeah.
Well, no. Yeah. Well, yeah. The fucking all the
loot boxes.
They got the money to do it, but they've never had an issue, and they said that they've come out and said that once all that gets squared away and everything gets official, that they have no problems doing it if they can. I guess one of the big holdups on it is the fact that since there's no like player union like there is in Madden, not Madden, sorry, NFL, they can't just negotiate with all of them. Like it sounds like that's something that's just kind of they would have to do individual people, and it just sounds like that's something that isn't worth the hassle.
Yeah, I mean, how many college football players are there?
Oh,
could you imagine having to negotiate like a contract for every single player?
Yeah,
thousands. You think there's like 123 different schools, and there's about 100 players. There's up to 100 players on each team at least.
Well, and every single one of them trying to put hands in the pie too. So it's 100% how it'll be. Every single one of them will have their agents. Everyone. It's like, just go to school.
Excuse me, Mr. EA. I'm a water boy for this college team.
Yeah.
Game.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. I mean, me personally, I never understood why they didn't just, because it's easier to get like the likeness rights and that for the schools because they just go talk to the NCAA and they just, since it's a central body, they can agree to terms a lot easier. I don't know why they've never just done that and then just fill teams with random players, like, because where they were getting in trouble is not so much in trouble, but where people were like, oh, hold on, I want my slice of the pie there. There's probably deservedly so, but they made them look almost exactly like the person, and they gave them like, oh, that's not Tim Tebow. That's just number 15.
Yeah, they just gave numbers instead of names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I never understood why they just didn't like. So like, if a team has a good offensive line, just give them some good offensive linemen and just make them look random. Like I
Yeah.
never understood why they never did that. But
EA designers and illustrators, you're doing good. Too
Right.
good. All right, you're making these people look too lifelike. They think they can come at you for money.
Just bring it back to the N64 graphics
Right.
where it's boxes running around. Okay.
Ooh, just big
Yeah.
old boxes. Just bring it back. NFL Blitz. You don't even see their faces.
right, clothesline the hell out of
right?
everybody.
Best football
Everybody
game
wears a
to
visor.
date. It played on a
Everybody
big ass stand up arcade cabinet. 4 players just running it. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's definitely gonna be interesting for those sports fans out there that like those games. Hopefully, in the next few years, something can come about. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how all that kind of unfolds. Because some of the gentle pushes that made the NCAA do this ruling was, first off, I think it was California passed a law where college players can receive money. So they kind of stuck the middle finger to the NCAA. And then on top of that, with the NBA has like a G League now. So instead of college basketball like high school players going to the NCAA for a year, then going into the draft, they can actually go to this G League and collect a paycheck of up to like $300,000, and they don't have to worry about they don't have to worry about all the stupid rules and all that stuff with the NCAA. If they wanted to go to like a video game company and get paid X amount, they could do it, no worries, that kind of stuff. So that kind of gave them that gentle push to make it look like they actually care about the players, So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we got for news. Just a few games that came out this week. We got Someday You'll Return on PC. They came out on the 5th. Trackmania also on the 5th, also on PC.
Ooh.
We got War Tile Hell's Nightmare DLC. That's PC, Xbox, and PS4. Also on the 5th. We got, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but
Oh god,
Arborea on
I think
PC.
you got that decent.
Yeah, that sounded about right.
Dude, good. That came out on the 7th. We got Fledgling Heroes on the Switch, May 7th. Lonely Mountains Downhill, Switch, May 7th. And Wavy the Rocket on PC on May 7th.
Boy, Wavy the Rocket.
I skipped one because I really want to try this game. John Wick Hex came out on May 5th for the PS4.
Bastards.
John
And
Wick Hex.
What I've heard about that game, it's kind of like a Telltale game, I want to say, where you go through and you have like a conversation or you make selections and then it plays a scene of what actually happens. Does that make sense?
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's dialogue and you make your decisions and then the scene plays out.
So is that the whole? Is that the whole thing, or do you?
I'm not sure. I haven't actually seen gameplay on it. That's just what I've heard from other podcasts that I've listened to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They need to take it back to those instance-based games, like where you make a decision, that's the direction it goes. That'd be a cool game.
Yeah.
If you get like a set of like 4 dialogue options, you have to figure out what to do next, and you're 4 steps ahead, so you can continue. That'd be a cool.
Yeah. That's all we got for releases this week. Something we want to do here, we're going to try to do it every week. We're going to do a game-related draft. We'll do 4 rounds. We'll do a snake draft, but it's going to be gaming related. We'll post all of our answers on the Facebook for a poll, and you guys can vote and see which one of us drafts the best team of things. So we'll go 4 rounds. This week I figured we'd start off something simple. We'll do console platforms. So we'll, your Xbox, I wouldn't say PC as just a single platform. I'd say like Steam or Epic or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, fair.
And it's just your favorites, what you think is the best, not necessarily what sold the best.
Oh, okay. Like our personal favorite games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not games, consoles.
Oh, consoles. Okay.
Or
Okay.
platform. Yeah.
Console or platform.
Okay.
And I did a random wheel thing, and Austin actually has the first pick.
Okay. I'm gonna get really creative with this one, so you guys
Ooh.
better watch out. I'm gonna go with Steam.
Ooh, I knew you were going to take that.
Yeah, just because the sheer volume of games that are out there, and the just indie in the variety. You got indie developers, you got main developers, stuff like that. So it's
Fair.
definitely
Fair.
I'd have to go with that one.
It was probably one of my top two. It was either going to
Yeah.
be that or my first pick, which I'm not going to say because Matt has the second pick.
Oh,
I go with the same route, the Blizzard launcher.
good choice. Good choice.
We'll just say Blizzard.
And that's all the Warzone stuff.
True. Good choice.
All right. Well, for my first pick, I'm just going to go with a personal favorite just because I can.
The nerve.
How dare you?
I'm going to go with the PS2.
Ooh.
Just because I know I said it's not about which sold the most, but yeah, that is a factor. It's the highest selling console.
I mean, that had a lot of great games on it, so I mean,
like
I'll let that slide. Like
the Final Fantasy series, that's probably one of my favorite RPGs. I mean, the Yu-Gi-Oh games. I mean, come on, can't and the Dragon Ball Z games. Those first came out on PlayStation. They weren't on Xbox, so.
Armored Core was another good game series.
Twisted Metal,
yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
Nostalgia.
Twisted Metal.
Nostalgia, guys.
Right? Your little sweet tooth in here.
Oh, Sweet Tooth. That's first introduced Rob Zombie album.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yep. Yeah. And I'm gonna go with Game Color. Mainly Pokemon. I mean,
Okay.
can't go wrong with Pokemon.
True.
That is like my staple right there.
I mean, I don't think anybody could say otherwise.
If you had a Game Boy, you had.
Right. So, what are the stipulations of the question again? What do we pick in?
Personal favorite consoles, platforms.
Personal favorite console. Oh man.
And you're on the clock, Matt.
Clock? How much time do I got?
You got about 3 hours.
3 hours to make a decision. Okay. Nintendo 64, Super Mario 64.
You took my next one.
Right? Dude, it's either Super Mario 64 or Castlevania.
Gauntlet Legends.
Oh my gosh.
I was hoping it was going to fall. All right. Austin, you got the next two picks.
Ooh, next two. I'm struggling with the next one.
Right?
Yeah, it kind of falls off real quick.
The next two I'm going to go with are kind of newer. I mean, they're not newest, but at the same time, it was a transition for me from going from one to another, and just just enjoyed the time I did put into both of these systems. But I'm going to have to say PS3, and then follow that up with Xbox 360. Just a lot of the games I could think of with that. Call of Duty 4 was a big one. I kind of transitioned from PS3 into Xbox 360 with that game, but Romance of the Three Kingdoms, I got into that game with PS3. Spent a lot of hours. For Romance of the Three Kingdoms is kind of a more RTS of Dynasty Warriors, so it kind of took away from the hack and slash aspect and more into the RTS. Yeah. So that's
Battlefield 2, fantastic game.
Battlefield 4 as well.
What about Bad Company, Matt?
Oh my god, Battlefield Bad Company.
Sniping people from across the map with a shotgun.
I for that game. Okay, I would play it right now if they would still provide like server support and they had people playing it. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Yes, I'd log in right after this, and I would play a game. Like I would push Call of Duty. I would delete all 177 gigabytes of Warzone off my computer to play that again.
All right, Matt, you're up.
All right, here we go. Console. Sega Saturn.
Ooh.
Yeah, there was this shooting game. It kind of acted, I forget, it's called like Firestorm or something like that, but it kind of was like Time Crisis, or like what you played in the arcades. Like they jumped out at you, and like Austin, you remember on the arcade cabinet we played the Terminator 2 Judgment Day, where you had to move that little cursor around and shoot it with the joysticks? It was like that, except with the controller. So
good time.
yeah.
How many hours did we play that day?
We played it a lot. Well, it was my arcade cabinet, so we had free credits. So
so it was like 5 or 6 hours straight. I think we played it. Just that one game.
Yeah.
All right. So for my next pick, I'm actually going to pick Epic.
Right on.
Mainly because, not because of Fortnite.
Because it's Epic.
Oh.
Just because.
Yeah, right.
You hear about the things that they do. Like they started the whole cross-play and all that, and offered it up to everyone. And they're giving developers like really like way better cuts than Steam does for having them be exclusive on Epic.
Sure.
And I mean, some of their games are actually pretty cool. What was it?
Oh man,
I forget what game it was.
The crossplay thing was, I think.
Yeah.
For me, finally.
Yeah. Right.
Finally.
Took long enough.
Yeah. And then finally, I'm gonna take the Xbox One because that is what I currently have. That is Bay right there.
Fair. It's fair.
Bay. Oh, jeez, what am I gonna say?
No pressure. What are you gonna say? What am I gonna say?
You could always take the Duke. The original.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I mean, good old faithful, my Sega Genesis.
Ooh,
Playing,
good choice.
Yeah, playing Sonic 1 and 2.
Oh, Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis. Yeah.
Those games were where it's at. Dude, popping in Aladdin on that. Ooh. Game over, okay? Kathy played the hell out of
Earthworm Jim.
And then the game Toe Jam and Earl. Dude, I had no idea about that game, and then she's like, you have to try this game. It was cool. She beat it in like 2 hours. The same with Sonic. She did that the one night we were down there gaming. Sonic 1 or 2, she's in the background. She like comes out like 3 hours later after we're landing. She's like, beat that. I was like, all right.
Didn't know you were this big gamer.
Well, yeah, no shit. Yells at me for.
Well, she was there when they were created, so I mean. Sorry, Kathy. Sorry.
Well, we're landing for like 8 hours and like.
All right.
Beat that.
You got the Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis.
Right, and Austin, you got the final pick.
I'm gonna have to go with what I touched base on with the introductions. I'm gonna have to go with Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. Super NES.
So that's just like I said, kind of where it all started, and even today I think of like Techno Super Bowl, another good game I played. Like I even like downloaded an emulator on my phone just to play that game.
Yeah.
All right, so the teams these will be posted so people can vote on them. Austin, you have Steam, PS3, Xbox 360, and the Super Nintendo. Matt, you have the Blizzard launcher, N64, Sega Saturn, and Sega Genesis. And I have the PS2, Game Boy Color, Epic, and the Xbox One.
I don't know.
Come out for the Sega Saturn.
We might be triggering some PS4 people because they didn't get
it. It's not even on there. Oh.
You might have won this console generation, but Xbox One X is still the superior console. PC Master Race. All right. at this time, we would normally go to the chat and answer any questions or if anyone got anything wrong. But
Well, I mean,
no questions. All we have is my son loves the show.
and to address your wife's comment, we don't actually have an official drink yet.
Oh, yep, I do see that now. Yep,
Yeah.
Mountain Dew, the official drink of the gaming chair. Hashtag not a sponsor.
Yep. And apparently we have Aquaman on the show.
Oh yeah, I used to work with Bob. He gave me the nickname Aquaman.
There you go. There you go.
So,
Yeah.
All right. So to close out the show, we are going to be doing a live react to the Inside Xbox that was just posted a couple days ago.
Yes.
So we'll be doing that shortly.
Well, for our Patreon supporters.
Yeah, for our Patreon supporters.
Oh. So I mean, and it's not. I mean, if you want to see it, it's not much. It's a $3 tier. So if you just want to throw a couple bucks, get to see these lovely faces. Mostly these guys here, these two. Like, you know, just see how we see even more in depth our feelings and live reactions. Which I mean, our facial reactions are definitely on point and worth every bit of that $3. So
For sure. Austin.
yes. Also, well, I mean, you're here already, so make sure you follow us on Facebook. Helps out a lot. And as well, we have a YouTube channel where we're going to be posting these. Eventually, we're hoping to maybe get stream into there too. But yeah, go ahead and follow our YouTube channel. It is the Gaming Chair. Spoilers, yeah, the Gaming Chair. So that's where you'll find us. And Matt has got some information for us.
Yeah. So to allow us to keep multicasting, just a way you can show your support, we do have our merch store. That's awesome. Custom designed gear and stuff you can tote around to show your support. We do have our Patreon page, which will have linked to everything for everybody to easy access. It just allows us to keep continuing to do this every week, to do the multicasting, to make sure we increase just production value every time, so you get the highest quality out to you guys at every time. So I think that was great for the first episode.
Oh, for sure.
Everything really good.
Before we sign off here, where can everybody find you guys?
Fine. So we have our individual Twitter pages, we have our Twitches, we have a link to everything. You can find mine. My Twitch is at AlphaMaleTV. I also on Twitter, same thing. On our website, we do have the links for everything as well. But so you got your.
Yeah. I don't have anything on Facebook yet officially, other than my personal profile. Which, if we're not friends, I guess if you want some
You ain't cool.
terrible, if you want some humor that makes you question yourself, obviously yes.
Dark humor.
The memes are A1. Whoever isn't friends with us.
Yeah. Otherwise on Twitch, I'm at the Rudyster. I plan on getting a page started on Facebook as well for Rudyster when I get back into kind of streaming a lot more. So that's where you can find me.
And for me, it's pretty much just Facebook is where I stream. Just Omega TV. The E is a 3.
E is 3. It's canceled.
Oh, Jesus.
It's canceled.
Oh,
demonetized.
I don't know if I can spin around. You see it there?
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay, there we go. Just add TV to that.
Right.
And
Yeah, add Space TV.
Space
and
TV.
that's where I'm at.
Mr. Geoff is getting mad that you're E3. Right? Awesome. Well, all right. I think that about does it for this week. Make sure you guys tune in next Saturday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're in the Midwest in Dubuque, Iowa. So don't miss another episode. Subscribe, follow us on Patreon, and get all up-to-date, latest information, exclusive content, all that fun stuff. So awesome. All right.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Have
See
a
you
good
guys
one.
later.
Thanks for tuning in.